Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
But you don't know what to say. Should we have waited a little bit longer with what we saw yesterday?
So medical dose. I mean, greetings once again to our viewers and listeners. Yes, sir. Now, and you more say, I feel somebody statement you want to say, at least 1 week because never course no chair say, I can be say on mine and say who ye say, ye be school no. If you say, Osha, ye sure can say, Cabrana, San Yamano, announcement in the by and Penidin and sent to Jano. Obia or war Sarge Mediano Fabino, and also Befa. Now, right from there, no carry on. But that payment no reporter in Sakamo, Musaki BHS, and Yaman call the various centers no, and that's the schools no. And they said, Yaman call and son a school for neighbor duo. So Mo could do what they say, Nipa could be crampon ye be. Next, a no chin and Yaman could do on more. You're fighting now, you're fighting COVID no. A Diego reading from the beginning. Henty, a being yes, and never do on one Sunday school for the crab hole. And it is sad, say, and I was following the conversation, say, we didn't learn from what happened during the Brafanades for Necon. We didn't learn from that one. If we had learned some lessons, in Kabia, ye who near ye who see, and see, Bibiatre, Nabi Obias, Bibian Sun Shayen say, Chinchina Yimbi no brand, no money, Eduga Comno, and do here. What would also mean say ye be ye ma 1 week better so now be a war Sarge Median much for be a say obit me a say no money could do be say do no. A kwamano na be a day 1 week now ya never to so send be affected academic calendar no. So we can still go ahead. We are not under any pressure to open school even when all shows there we are not ready for it.
Now Yembra the entire science and data we are told say it informs the basis for the reopening of schools. At the moment, the numbers are high. Penny from the last address, you could see from his body language and his demeanor, say he's concerned, he's worried. I mean, this is the first time I heard the president speaker. Now, you know, he was hinting, say, regardless of the economic impact on the governance, you know, we'll be forced to lock down the country, be it partial or full lockdown. You could get the sense, say, I mean, he was not happy with how the numbers are going up. And any mistake, I may have drew her.
That's a very good question. Also, first of all, before I even came to where we went wrong, let me also say, now, I mean, viewers and listeners should take note. Say, let's not push the president. But the statement of can say, we should not give him a reason.
Yes.
I mean, specifically as we are addressing students. And see, how will we even go beyond students? Because now we all stakeholders in a way.
Yeah.
May the president know the reason to lock down. May Saint Tibin Babana money so simple say, I can say to me, and they are locked down. May and do more. Say school for your my family na teacher for your be our work BB your side you in a year. You bet to me in Husa. Now baby question and now to your specific question. This is where, in my opinion, went wrong. Ebra ya anybody and I shots or Ghana ha. Just so baby. And I brought echo from who report and your report from other places say echo from Kakra. Ebra near new wave ne started and yet here. What did we do as a country? I think that's where the problem is because a started no where will baby no ebe drew her. Into say the new variant na banana say a new wave of the COVID it's a I started with other places na eba. It shows clearly say definitely ebe do her because goods and I mean people are doing transit here and there. And see that's where we let our guys down.
But if that be the case, I say airport there, still they are going through the checks to ensure so be a no. You're checking the temperature, will go through process, you know, you're better taking a so from on the test or yeah, and also the report at the brain. Now, Yanka says you have also nipping the tester, you the test you're confined for a period and sana, you're releasing into the system. All these checks are in place, and you know, if they are in place, it presupposes to say we are safe.
So that should have been. In fact, I don't think I know okay. But you see, my name. There are abuses in every institution. We all know it. This is an open secret.
Yeah.
Now, apart from that, you know, airports and any the approved ports and entry points and you check man. I mean, there are a lot of unapproved areas. My appetite. eno immigration for betumi ayo mo de na so nipa boni open bibia ye obetumi de be room nipa pa kokra be room no fa be bia ye approved a eno kra ya se mebetumi aye make eno kra onim ni status say owo bia no ni bi nti oye ne obone bra oye ni bibia sa be kwa na ye na adwe ne say oh ya na ekofom nti ye ne ehun kutamudi kra ya na we are not so minded say you be share say protocols ni de ejuma nti nipa ba ko be fa through an unapproved entry point bia no be do o man mu asamato ye nti bia is possible say some of these areas na ama yare na ba I want to trust the system say for the airport and other places in there measures no very strict and stringent say or measures say because we can say our whole life depends on what we do I mean to keep the country safe. See say yenya surge in the cases na bia betumi some of these unapproved entry point into the country and ama you could do now
younger education issues. Kamede ko for bia it's not your domain. Yenya education issues. Enra de ehu ye reporter ye titi ye no. As an educationist, how did you feel about the reports that were coming through first day reopening of schools?
It's not healthy. In fact, enya dia ebo abaso. Ebo abaso. Ade bi won na say ye confront ni ye a eboa ma yetumi eka ni ye na yetumi siesie. Say aban ye bibi ana say agency bi a aban mediation and say ye bibi na oye ni ye a yeti a yebo na abaso say na be betumi akoso no waye ni ye. Say chimato bi ba na adwuma hu na say ye council a botai ni say ye be ma nipa no epege numu na waye ni so ye. Say oho bi o no mama timemfo no ti so oho we na ye wo medicine no PR no ekasa say okasa corporate Ghana ye be hia mombo a say from Accra na baby a ye dey nyama na free echo the district no challenge ye wo in getting the items from the center of distribution to the various areas in the nooks and crannies of the country or how ye won ye mo meboa ye na ntumi fenko I'm sure they will come along and help but say ekoye say oh ye bibia gwa koma ye betumi dey aye na say be do sa bre na bi ndo hon mo a a source of worry to obia say be madwin di ngosi chipa na ye hwese o man be tumpon e wo ye wumesu mu nti report na eba no wo kanina abomu a enya de a edimu in fact let me also say centers in schools some schools be omo full complement of their items ni na schools be enya omo nyoma ni na ebi onu so omo nya kakra ebi so nya ebi kra enimeni ya ministry ni embra bontina mechre and I gonna case mechre kwan ya mofa so na masa nyema ne akọ and in between the time and you be those areas no in shebe no mudi gu akwam se na be school for na aba no ye inform nkonto ajeje mu ni na ye nyema be hia se ye be hwe ni na yama edimu
now ye kachire se ye identity ye be ma a teacher for won be hwe emofra no so wabra bomo eco school and now some of the footages I who social media and teachers need be a commotion nose mask no teachers need be on they videoed and koda one more ancient nose mask one more as ben they videoed it and put it on social media osha entity training echo for teachers are one more the public schools no meaning say we'll come to the issue of the private and the public why there is that difference but osha entity echo so enough.
Yes, entity the meet me aka say anko the ye papa. Won say wo hwe yare na aka say buy na ma bibia be stand still. Even the I don't know say be do no and say be another time. Sa common core program no new curriculum na by the ban hand share no. Training be as nke course it was been around April to June. And by around December year even during the Christmas holidays na start just in Kugu University of Ghana area start training more. Me pese me chese COVID na manuma be break eche say yan hwe ni year 2020 election quite will have been affected nti a changing the calendar of our activities in fact our national life was completely affected nti I do quite feel so say we need to get teachers trained in some of these things. Most of the teachers were just relying on nyoma amutititi from media APFM net ETV mo kan bia no mo so afa also yes I already say you but say you free teacher for any bia every health authorities omo ko cheche teacher for no kwa mba so adi omo hu ni omo ankasa eni kwa mba so abo omo sukufo no so na omo hwe omo hu ye no me hu san nchehye no bebre near boy any they will go regular Ministry of Ministry of Information. Those days normally Ghana has a kabomu kakrana omorane press conference no more chair baby yare do bibi aye nam enyoma bi e be nyese e be hwe ne ye enyoma foforo bi e ba fa yare no ho eno na e be the only source of education any a few adverts and commercials here and there omorane in the on our airways na de na edibua but say ye free teacher for no say the are na say na ekono me hunu sa na ka me hwe kwan sen ka bra omampani di sa ne address ne beba no nka Ministry of Health any other agencies on becabo mo afre teacher for na chechro mo enyoma bi is it yare ndi obi anim se say de enim no kakra but se say wo teacher ni a wo gina school for enim na wo kire kwala na de no den na wo be yese na be yare no entre wo domain no eno yes hye ya me hunu ye yes eno ya de me hunu ye.
All right, now Mami bisa about the disparities between the public and then the private school. Because from all indications, it looks like private schools are for 10 months, as I say, no more nyejumano. They were better prepared, better equipped than the public schools. One more teacher for one musika eba bibia in terms of running of the educational system as a ministry as here some budgetary allocation in but the private schools were better prepared. What brings about those disparities?
That's an intelligent question, I should say. Also, all private schools now, they are operating purely for. There's a commercial entity, a typical commercial entity.
Okay.
I know, say government schools, no you are buying school near there. In fact, I dream cry they approach government institutions around Punayana or form. Adebia say wo dia anka wo be yire ho ahwe ne ye aye ne ye no kodu aban dia o ye ne keke neko we aban wontu me nkoso aban ye won sembra ye kan de boy ho sama na ejai na private school no o ye bibi se na be ye obegina ye na binum atene nka na waban ti me nka na am academic work nko a but in their environment no crutch or call no to say yes school nie and no say oba hono say yes school fee say na we to near cause we about school na say from one you can say you are getting value for money and say no cry is a great incentive for anybody to want to, especially those who can pay, they want to send their children there. Now in the fight against COVID in the home share no one say one other the people be free so teaching or private school for say Osha compound schools no some of them, I would say many of them have big space on facility so. Now so no school for the door call susa. If we say yeah obia per service be I want chere ni abrebo mu sem to obia per ni e fam kwano e free there no. Enti say obeko baby a obenya no free a I don't say okọ baby a obechi sika. Enti obehwe no na omo class size nkura esua. Na class size nsusa a school for the total number of students almost susa. It is very easy to manage one sabe so sa nipa ketu ebis dan nipa dodo. Into we the factor of say aban dey na ye dey run ye government schools na. Obe private school na eno ye aban asem ye obi na ye na adwuma pen mfa so bi. Into ade bi obeye ebema school na ya akono. Na obi abade ni ba school na obeye. Eno echi no omo facilities na so. Nipa kakra bi na wo nti say nshishie bi na omo ye kra etumi almost no sabetumi aso omo so and they can easily go and home be brave. Now
I know that your time is up, but Mami Mbesa about your new system are running and I don't go school no. I don't even know one more textbooks because I know that from last year time is it 2018 2019 CS, if I say, or how do you call that thing? Sexual
sexuality education, yes.
No. Now, you shelve the entire adeno. Meaning, see, I'm quite a number of schools.
That's another area. Me personally, me yapa. In fact, I be see the recommended materials are the school buy. What parents are doing currently, I will follow you and so it was some core subjects be and I say some subjects be and you can say and yet didn't say with no say oh you first our book you maybe course material. For example, members say me promote be ABNT or books be on more and the amount for to say change beba curriculum no and affecting that much. But you see, once any recommended no, and cry question be ho. Because we have seen baby, and I wouldn't him chef for na eba, and I wouldn't changes abaya omo. And so what do I drink koto baby and na water with the idea for ne bar, ebi away and ness and sacred and door so you just shelf near water. It is sad say we introduce a program when we didn't have everything, or maybe many of the things in place. I also say they say in advanced jurisdictions, no, omo ya debia me pepa na we senka Ghana be do some so ye onkofo bi mo they call them national planners. All they do is to sit down and plan. In fact, no betumi atena ha ye January san onkofo no betumi a kire say send ya nyoma ekọ ewo abrebo mu ewo ye humesum no December Saturday we ebeba oman so. And they will tell governments that do something today. Because in 6 months time this will happen. And when it happens, it will affect this national the aspect of this our national life this way. See, in there, I'll give you a typical example. Sometimes I may just say to the extent say, you see numbers now do a certain level. I to me in baby mom or senior high schools. Now, Omoko universities so numbers now do some who how to place them. Then I ask myself, where are the planners? Because from day one, you need more mature BEC, you need number no. And by average, you need every year be a number a pass call SHS. If you don't drop out, yes, but you need on the average, you need pa or pass call SHS. And say, yeah, allowances before increases because the enrollment be cost every year. Because many people are, I mean, they won't collaborate. It is expected say enrollment will always go up, but at least then we have something to work with. From BEC to SSC, we know Omomeko, and from SSC to the tertiary institutions, normally, on the average, almost pass Omoko. And think I'm started BEC no planning as started because we know. And when they bet me, say, "Kofoya, batch or more," he say, "Your mom can I say, almost enough for system the BNC normal pass here, or share stress on the facilities I was in school and in year." Yes, senior school school be an capacity to me afa. Yaya Cradwa na. One of them say, Brown, Governor started BEC, and I say, JHS 1, I say, started say, school at Danby. But we are doing that in anticipation, say, you be do level be a numbers in the bedroom. So, you was a data now, and maybe some say, I data the idea. I mean, it's not enough to say, oh, you were Nipa 400,000 this year, almost 30 for BEC. Out of that, Nipa 200 something normal pass here. No more call SSC. It's not enough to play with those figures. It is for planning. And I want to call on the president. Say, I mean, we have monitoring and evaluation in the previous government. There was this monitoring and evaluation. These are some of the things they must set themselves to do. Now, you may be able to be planning a demo. And no sano near a beba no hobby beba. You have to be implementation challenges. And no. Why are you doing idea? Why are you doing na bra wo dey ade na go se begu akom no no challenges no be ho e no enkodoso because why you planning to do no. This is what we are not doing right, and I hope say you will do one myself mine.
Well, moving forward these challenges we are hopeful say and from the PRO's point of view they are taking measures to rectify the problems we saw yesterday. What do you expect to see and and go back to school?
Well, first of all, from the standpoint of government and maybe GSN, me issue regular communicate to the schools. I mean, through their this is directorate near the what the ministry and the GS are doing when reference are in your mom or then the regular update and almost some of the heads of schools in this directors in Bioa almost any free aban aso ebeba nti anamonto bi kra ho myself to come train because when person be bibina obe to aban hihye ase nti say a free aban aso eba de na antoso so nti omo update so ye do hanom ye bibia enema na ekoni nie bra enema ne ban no school heads no mo hwe some be say if it to mean say school be better certain discretion be which the GS allows anyway. All man you will say what school head no do school for ne ba na wo hwe nneoma bi nhihye no wo de ba wo hwe nneoma bi na say be nya say obodi nsusun fufu be ba atumi contain wa personal and particular circumstance na ye no sa discretion no ye hwe say no so be edwuma school bi hwe na say omo nya bi kura na say school for no ye gi omo wo ho na de oho be ba me gidi say ne papa mu say school heads no betumi anya sa discretion aka so mpacho ye school no de ye mbie no enne and any discretion heads of school no in its particular circumstances all determine which the guidelines for reopening school no are allowed. This is must come. And you see, some when you catch schools na through their this directorate na my teacher ni bi so obe share the personal circumstances yo ye nya academia wa ha school for some ba omo bo pe so omo awofo de ama note mass from record bi wa fa bi amba and sanitizer so oni bie and nyoma teacher for temperature gun near dey so yen fa bi mba ye I think it will be fair say heads of school no schools bet me aka so yen school na yen san ka hwe no yen bie nende na others na yen sa ka no omo mbie it will not affect the academic calendar that much but speedy delivery of items no and so bit me abo ma so sa nyoma ina no until by close of day in fact I heard somewhere say ministry ne I'm beginning to get say they are hoping say by close of the week no the nyoma ina be do all the schools. This is not good news. I wouldn't say so because I can't send that until why close of the week if close of the week then I first foremost say na ya be mu say anamu susun ya be edwuma say yen twentwen so yen fa na wo twentwen so na mo fam nyoma ina nko na yen bie ne school fu no enkoto nyoma no chense nyoma no ba beto school fu no e wo school ho ye de
enkomotwetwe no eba wie no some are advocating say enka ansa na ye school no there should have been a general compulsory double track system for the basic schools in Nyina, especially the public ones and Kwadano Wamotna 2 pupils on 1 chair. Not one running anopa area. Senya, maybe a numbers na adults no compulsory no. Maybe a class of 50 students any woman 25 ebanopa, not 25 aberia. What do you make of that proposal?
That's it's something that can be worked with. Classroom bi ho almost space school for no esa na space no so so metumi space and they can still contain the 50 no enko for ho biamba na ye na ye nim say nose magnet face shield no and no necessarily be our one of the greatest containment measure I saw yare ya no nti me gidi say space no titimuntem kakra na student engagement from kakra say be agro deal sometimes they go school say we share unia na wo hu na che na mo bonko na mo stress na mo ye se ni na ye hwe na brema na barasi na say no space so ehyen ya ebetumi aboa ma etumi akofom now for omo amo space no sa na school for no so adults no yes me gidi say I ne anopa and as a shift system no and a double track na no ebeboa na etumi ya contain na say na enya aka no we hoping say yare we na ntina nche na bra ye sua yare no ye hu nyoma bebre betumi aboa ma yetumi aso no say yare no kɔ na ye hu say nyoma na egu akwemu ye na oho no tse na ye hu na bibia sequence ye besa ba ye dada mo ba sisia no hihye bia ye be bia no ye nyanye njintum say ye be ha ye nyina okwan bi so I mean the president at kind of time and again say we are not in normal times nti enyoma bi on wo nya no sene nka wo paa onya nkobe obenya no ye nhwe say sa nyoma nyina betumi aye apart from that to say there's a backlog of teachers ye nya ejuma this is the time aban betumi aka so ye ma ye mbie kwan no na ministry na education so mo fa nipa dodo no mentumi mboa ma sa nhihye ntumi ndi mu o ma ye de na ye kan nti say tumi ye sa nyoma ye a ye betumi aso yare na no na tumi abonye bra na yakɔ school so a oho bia ni echi
yo sir you better
energy